Alright, guys, so this weekend I played. My brother got a PlayStation 4, and the first game I ever played on it was Until Dawn. I played it, what was it, Friday night. Played it for like 2 hours, but it was really late. Like, it was up till 3:30 that night. And then the next day, I powered through it like all day and finished it that day. Uh, if that's any indication of how good the game is, there you go. I thought it was incredible. Like, I've never experienced anything like it. I always praise Telltale games, but whenever you hear my criticism, I have a lot of criticisms of Telltale because I love them so much. Whenever I heard my criticisms were essentially everything that Until Dawn did right. It was like my dream game almost. The only thing I knew about Until Dawn is it was a story-based game where your choices affect the outcome. So, Life is Strange, Telltale game style, those are up my alley. If you know anything about what I like, those are really up my alley as of late. I had no idea that it was actually a horror game, and that was a huge part of it. But it was almost my dream game in that I always wanted a game where you could actually fail, potentially. There's 8 characters essentially that you control their lives, and whether they live or die is up to you. And like every little decision matters. This is what I want from Telltale. Telltale, some decisions matter, and they do a good way of framing the story to make the decisions seem like they have weight. But 9 times out of 10, they always branch back onto the same path. This actually has tons of different branching paths. It's the huge focus of it is the butterfly effect. Every little decision has these outcomes, and you can actually look and see what outcomes they do make. You know, you shoot this bird, this thing happens, and then next thing you know, someone dies. That kind of idea. I'm not going to talk any spoilers or anything here. This is really crazy to me. I never thought the game would come. I was like, I want a game where you can fail or you can win, but like every decision actually has an impact. There's so many things that could happen, but I was like, that's never gonna happen because it would be too much work. There'd be so many different timelines you'd have to do, alternate recordings and whatnot. But no, they made it work really well. There's still more that could be explored, obviously. There could be even more depth in how your decisions affect things, but this is the best I've seen it done. You know. And I loved Life is Strange, but I think this blew it out of the water. If you want a story-based experience where you have an effect, this is the one to go for. Where your choices matter and you can actually make a difference. And you can feel the weight of everything going on. It was one of the most atmospheric games I've ever played, really. The horror aspects are done so well. So well. And I even looked in the bonus features, and you can see that there's actually it's the science of scares and of horror. They actually like did experiments and tested like which scares were working on different people. You know, they'd test subjects come in, and they would track how they responded, and then they build tension based on that, and it was really well done. You can see a lot of there'll be a couple scares that just won't go over well, but you really have to be in a mindset. Like, if you have like a huge group of friends, you're laughing and making jokes, it's not going to have near as much of an impact as if, for the most part, for a lot of it, I was alone in the dark doing it. I had my brother there, but I was in the dark, and I was trying my best to immerse myself, you know. That's how you get the most out of this experience, you know. In the dark, like, you're in the game, you don't start nitpicking little things and making fun of, you know, what some characters say. You just take it as its own world, you know. You have to appreciate it for what it is, and you have to be in a mindset where you're able to appreciate that, and then the decisions really have a weight, and you can feel the tension if you're actually valuing these lives as if it was a real event happening, not like, oh, I just want to kill off everyone for the heck of it. You're not going to have a good experience from that. Don't go into it saying I want an all death run. I want to get everyone killed. I don't even like the people that try to get certain people killed, but that's understandable if you just don't like them. But really, in real life, you're just gonna get them killed off because you don't like them. No, I tried to keep everyone alive the best I could because I think that gives you the best experience. But the scares were so good. I've never been scared as much as this. I usually don't have like huge like movement, whoa, or like huge verbal reaction to it either. But I can feel it. It's like, and then when the tension's building up, it does a really good job of keeping you on edge. They actually had this cool feature, which I didn't get to experience in mine because it uses the PlayStation camera. But I thought it was an awesome feature that I've seen from watching playthroughs of it, and it's called cheap shots, where it captures like your actual reaction from the camera to like certain scares that work particularly well on people, I guess. But it's really cool. It captures those moments so you can see yourself getting scared. That's a super cool idea, and a lot of this game is so innovative. You could see like the relationships of each character if you go into the menu and care enough to look into it. There's different clues you're collecting for different things going on. There's like 3 different storylines, and you're controlling all the 8 different characters bouncing back and forth. It really keeps it interesting. And you can't go in the mindset of you just want action nonstop. You have to be able to appreciate the downtime, and that's like the art of horror, is the build up. Like don't sit there and be like, oh, come on, let's get to the action, or stop talking or something. No, that's the entire game. Just take it for what it is. Appreciate it. It's almost an art form, I think, really. It's up there with like horror films. It was an interactive horror film. That's all you can explain it. I got just as much scares out of that as any horror film, really. And at the same time, you were interacting with it. And I really think this is like a revolutionary genre. This is a kind of merge between film and video games, and I think it's really cool to see it. And it's such a refined engine too. The graphics undeniably have an impact. Like if it was a horror game and you could, there's like a couple weird faces they make, but if it was such an awful like looking engine and the characters were just laughable the entire time, you wouldn't be able to get scared as well. But these characters look so real. Like the graphics are very good. They capture, and just the style and how they characterize each person really gives everyone a unique character. But yeah, if you couldn't notice, I'm super impressed by it. Like way more than I expected. Probably my game of the year at this point. And you got a month left for that to change. It's looking pretty good for Until Dawn. What else? There's the don't move. The feature where you're supposed to not move the controller. This got me in trouble so many times because don't move can cost you so much in this game, that one feature. And there's certain parts where you really can't move. If you're ready for it, the best idea would be to have it set down right before you do it so you don't have to worry about it. But it's really cool just how crazy everything is in effect. Alright guys, I've talked enough, but I just wanted to throw that out there. Until Dawn, awesome. We recommend that to anyone. Horror fans of video games as an art form, as they can appreciate gaming in general, and narrative. It all comes together so well, so thank you for watching. Mwah. Follow me on Twitter